Hi, welcome to another Devblog for the farming and community life simulator game, Homefront Harvest. One of my old bosses used to talk about the work that we were doing, and in terms of weeks that make other weeks possible, or days that make other days possible. This week felt a little bit like one of those weeks that make other weeks possible. So a lot of the time this week was spent sort of onboarding folks who are going to be helping with various aspects of the game, and then getting them up and running and creating things that recently have really blown me away. So some of the music, or all of the music that you'll hear in the game, has been made by other people other than me, folks that are on the Discord. There are sprites that I'll show you, different characters that are being made, prototyping for the game, that have been made by other individuals besides me. Buildings and ideas and mechanics and backstory, all of that is being contributed by other individuals who are on our Discord, by people who are in the subreddit, who have messaged me privately, who I've talked to on Twitter. So there's a lot going on in the background, and actually more and more individuals who are contributing to the game, which is just fantastic to see. So that has just been really wonderful, and will set us up for productive weeks moving forward. But code-wise, why don't I jump into Godot and show you the state of the game as it is right now. Okay, so this week I brought in the 10 crops that we do have the progressions for, so the stages of crop progression, and then also the sprites for the picked version of the crop. So what you'll see is beans, cabbage, carrots, corn, peas, potato, radish, tomato, and wheat. And so I have all of the stages. What I was able to do from a Godot perspective is set up this database that contains all of the different plants. I was able to set up a general scene and then progress through that. So you essentially set up this plant scene up here, and then anytime I need a new crop, which hopefully will be many more times more than these 10, is duplicate this scene, add the sprites, come into the database, add that crop and its particular attributes. So its cost, its age, which will always start at 0. That's just placeholder. How many phase days it has. So how long does it take for this crop to go from seed to maturity? Its current phase, which is used later in programming, the current day of the phase that it's on right now, so we know which sprite to select, and then when I need, and then whether it's ripe or not. So when I need new attributes, it's as easy as coming into this this file right here, which specifies the data for that object, and just updating, just adding new variables here will allow me to manage the variables in the database for each of the plants and update them. So that's a really efficient way, I think, to get more and more crops in here, and hopefully have dozens of crops by the end of development. Okay, so another main thing to work on this week was actually switching between the crops at plant time. So what I needed to do there is when you enter this plant mode, have a key that you press, and so that will iterate this, just sort of increment by 1. It's just really simple, a plant ID. So I'm jumping around a little bit, and I apologize for that. But basically, if you go into plant mode and then you press this key, I'm just iterating, adding a integer, right? And then I get the next plant in the data, so that what you can see, those are the birds in the game. And that'll die off in just a second. Okay, I don't have that on loop yet. But I'm in plant mode, and I press T, and then when I plant, this gives me the scene. So plant ID 3, and carrots, carrot, and then this is the location for the scene. So then I hit T a couple more times, let's say, and now I'm planting peas. Hit T, planting potatoes. Hit T, planting radishes. Hit T, planting tomatoes. Hit T, planting wheat. Let's plant some more wheat. Hit T, plant cabbage. All right, so these are all set up in the database scheme that I sent. I water these, and you know, this has been a prototype of watering. It feels a little clunky. We'll need to update that, but water these different plants. Let's just go back and forth and do that. And then the sparkle at the end indicates that it's at maturity, so it should be ripe, so that I'd be able to harvest that next. And that's on slate for this week, is to be harvesting and to get a inventory essentially. And so at the end of this week, I was able to start working on the inventory UI, which will be down here in the beginning, sort of your smaller inventory, which you could see, which will populate those items just like in your other favorite farming games, and then able to harvest some of these crops. So that's the game as it currently stands for this Devblog. Okay, so on deck for this week, in addition to the inventory system harvesting, are bringing in some NPCs potentially. Really, some of the artwork that's being done in the Discord and on the subreddit. So here are some plugs for the Discord and for the subreddit. Some of these, the work has just been tremendous, and so I'd love to get some of these characters, you know, spoiler alert, here's the town mayor, into the game and into some dialogue. So there's going to be some work done around harvesting and bringing NPCs and potentially a dialogue system in if I'm ambitious enough and don't get distracted sort of by things, by life. So that's it. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking these videos. Let me know what you're interested in, what specifically about this project sounds cool to you, or that you want to see, or that you liked in other games like Kynseed or Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon or Graveyard Keeper or things like that. So thanks for checking out the devlog, and I will talk to you later next week. Bye.